I think my voice or video something is buffering. Some people are saying. Um,
Yes, it is a little.
okay. Maybe it is because I'm excited about the
Now
session.
it's okay. Maybe it was for some few
Okay,
seconds, I guess. Yeah.
right. No worries. All right, let's see. So, yeah, I'll be a bit slow now. Let's see. First of all, I want to walk you through the data set, right? And I'll just present my screen. Let me know if it is visible to you. And this data is around the World Cup 2024, the 2024 World Cup T20, right? And I think, guys, you can lower down your hands. You don't need to raise your hands at the moment. We'll take up questions at the end, right? We'll take up questions at the end. Yeah, my connection is perfectly fine. I think, yeah. Are you able to see my screen? Can you just confirm quickly?
Yes,
Okay, okay, thanks. Perfect. Thank you. All right. Now let's see the data, right? What do we have here? I have the season, right? And all season, essentially, this is just 2021, right? I mean, 2024. There's no other season as such that I've included. I just wanted to include data for this World Cup, right? So let me just show how this looks like. So I'll just apply a filter here. This is a sort and filter option, right? So only 2024, as you can see. Team one, which is one of the teams that is playing. Team two, team one and two, and then date. When was this match played? And then match number one, two, three, four, right? Venue. Where was this match played? City. Which city was this match played in? Who won the toss, right? Then we have toss decision, field, bat, whatever, right? Whether they chose to, whoever won the toss, let's say India won the toss here, did they choose to field or did they choose to bat? Then player of the match, Bumrah was the player in this case, for example. Who was the umpire? I don't need this information, but yeah, we get that. This data is, by the way, coming from Crick Buzz. People, uh, YouTube link, people are asking, why do you need, okay, you need my channel, YouTube channel link. I'll share that later. But this data set link, if you're asking, so that is Crick Buzz. I got this data from a website called Crick Buzz, right? But I'll share it later, maybe, the data set. Um, okay. So let just follow this, right? I think you may not be able to do it with me because I may move a bit fast. So just follow, right? Just enjoy the process. That's what I would say to you. Um, Empire one and two, right? Then we have reserve umpire, match referee, who was the referee of the match, who won the match. Very, very important. Who was the winner of the match? Hope you're able to see who was the winner of the match here, right? Some of them have no result also. So while doing any data analysis, right, we need to be very clear about what's the kind of data we have, what are the values that we have. For example, see, there are some blanks also. There are some no results also. And there are some Pakistans also, but okay, that is fine. Of course, India won all the matches. So that uh winner runs, what were the number of runs scored by the winner, and then winner wickets, how many wickets did the winner take, and match type. Now, this is the data set, right? I just wanted to walk you through the data set so that you get an idea of the kind of data that we'll be working with today, right? And that will give you a sense of the kinds of graphs, charts that we intend to present or that we intend to build today, right? So that's the intent here. Um, Very quickly, let's jump to, yeah, toss winner is showing country, right? Which country won the toss? That is fine, right? Someone had this question, why is toss winner showing the country? But obviously, if you see, right, the toss winner, which country won the toss? So that's where this is coming from. Coming to the next part, right? Now, step one is done. We've explored the data. We've understood how the data set looks like. Now let's move to step two, and this is where I'll jump to the tool of the day. the tool in limelight, and that is Power BI Desktop. And Power BI Desktop is free for Windows users. Anyone can download it. Uh, just go to your Microsoft Store, download the app, or go online, Power BI Desktop, and you will find it. Right? I hope you're able to see the Power BI Desktop. Awesome. All right. Now, if you see, right, what do we intend to do here? I intend to first of all bring that data or import that data into Power BI. So I'll go to import data from Excel, right? And if I click on this, let me just quickly stop sharing because this will present my all the folders and everything. Okay, I think no need to stop share because I already have that folder open. So I'll just walk you through the process also here. So import data from Excel, right? I think you're able to see this also. I select this table matches, right? This data set that I just showed you, right? That was matches, this Excel file. Now what Power BI does is it establishes a connection to that sheet, right? To the matches sheet. And I select this matches, and this is the data that we have. This is the sheet that I want to import into Power BI. Now Excel is a data source for me. I am importing something from Excel into Power BI, right? That's what I'm doing here. Now, Power BI provides you with a bunch of transformation options also. Like you can transform data, you can add columns, you can handle duplicates, you can handle errors, you can handle blanks, for example. You can add column, you can manipulate columns, you can change values, you can combine columns, you can find aggregate marks from individual marks. Bunch of things you can do in transform data. So Power BI also helps you with cleaning and manipulation of data. People think that Power BI is only a visualization tool. And I also used to think that way before I really learned Power BI. Power BI helps you to also transform your data, manipulate the data, because we want the data to be more structured. We want the data to be more usable or consumable or digestible, right? These are the two benefits, uh, obviously, apart from the visualization benefits that Power BI provides. So now let's load the data. I clicked on load. Now what will happen? See, it is loading this data. I hope you're able to see this. Yeah, this is loading the data. And all the rows and columns that you saw from the matches table, that is being brought into Power BI, right? And yeah, let's just wait for this to happen. Meanwhile, I think just want to again mention, don't need to raise your hands, right? We will definitely take up questions at the end. So don't worry. All right. I think the data is loaded. Perfect. Let's just go to matches. See, this is the table I have, matches. All the columns that you saw, right? City, date, match number, referee, match type. We can also draw columns. If you want, we can also remove columns directly from here, right? Delete from model option is there. If you don't need the column, right? But I'm not deleting anything for now. We may use it in the analysis. Let's see. Now, what I want to do first is, and I always start with this, first thing, apply the filters or identify which filters you may want to use. So this is called a slicer, right? In Power BI, we call filters slicers. So I click on this gets added here, right? This is a slicer. I want slicer by date, right? So I will drag date to the field. If you see here, right, this filter gets created, this slicer gets created, it is still getting created, but it will help me slice and dice data or filter data. See this? I'll increase the size because some people might be attending this on a smaller screen. So I'll just increase the size of this. I'll just, let's see, where is the, all right, okay, this, yeah. And maybe I'll just also increase, I'll add a shadow, I'll add a visual border so that people can easily see this. Like I want to highlight this filter And for the values, I also want to increase the size. Maybe I'll make the size to 13. Now I think they are more visible, maybe 15. Right, and also the header, I want to increase the size to about 15. Super. Now this looks better. This is a slicer, right? Now let me start with a bang. Let me start with the best graph that I have, and that is this map here. I want to understand how many runs were stored, or was actually scored in each venue, in each city. How many runs were scored in each city? And whenever I do data analytics, right, I always start with a question. If you don't know the question, you will not get the answer, obviously. You need to know what you need to find from the data, what you are trying to find from the data. You should know. So let's just find that. What's the question? How many runs were scored in each city? So I will add city to the location. See, we already have a beautiful chart here. Texas, Florida. You can see these blue circles, right? Blue bubbles. Now, size of the bubble, I want to see the number of runs scored, the total number of runs scored in that venue. That should be the size of the bubble. How can I do that? So if you see, right, the winner runs we have, how many runs were scored by each winner. I want to add this to the size of the bubble, and that is actually here, bubble size. So I want to add winner runs to bubble size. See, beautiful. How many runs were scored in each venue, that got added here. Total number of runs. If I want average, now this is sum of winner runs, right? If I want average, I can right click here and you get these options: sum, average, minimum, maximum, count, standard deviation, variance, median. I will go to average. I want to see what's the average number of runs scored in each of these venues, right? These are the average runs. Now let's keep this aside. This is one part of the analysis, right? This will help me maybe tell a story. So in data analytics, what we do is we use charts and graphs to tell stories, right? That's essentially what we do in data analytics. So data analytics typically is a 6-step process, right? And I quickly want to walk you through those 6 steps, right? What are the 6 steps that each data analyst, as part of his or her job role, does, right? So maybe I'll just quickly walk you through the 6 steps. I'll maybe insert a text box here just to tell you. Let's write. So first step is data fetching, right? Or data collection. Let's say we collect data. Second step is, after we collect data from multiple sources, online, offline, we actually clean the data, right? We ensure that after we fetch the data, right, we clean it and make it more structured, make it more, or manipulate the data so that it is more consumable for the data analyst and the data scientist. Next, I do data pre-processing, or let's say data processing, which means that, again, it is part of okay, let me club these: data cleaning and processing, which means that manipulation, transformation of data. Next, I do exploratory data analysis. And this is where we actually explore how the data looks like, right? What are the trends in the data? What is the insight I want to deliver from the data, right? Or what is the trend I want to see in the data? Um, does the data want to tell me a message, right? That's what we explore here. Is there a trend? Is there a learning from the data? Next step, and maybe we can uh, just add bullet points. Next step is you actually build those beautiful charts and graphs that we are just about to build today. You do data visualization, right? Whatever you've learned from the data, you want to convey it very beautifully through charts and graphs, right? That is data visualization. For me, that's the most interesting step, frankly. Next, we actually go ahead and tell stories. So I call this data storytelling, which means through the charts and graphs you've created in step 4, through the charts and graphs we've created in step 4, right? We want to tell a story, and from that story, we want to make business decisions, right? And hence create impact. So help the company solve business problems. So these are the 6 steps we typically do in data analytics. And maybe I'll just move this to page 2 so that our analysis, we there's no problem in the analysis space we need. So yeah, so these are the 6 steps of data analytics. Coming back very quickly, let's come back and maybe let's add one more chart that everyone wants to see. And maybe I'll invite ideas also at this point. Maybe if you want to add some, if you want me to display a particular chart or create a particular chart, would be happy to do that as well. Right now I want to understand for the winner, right, what was the average number of runs scored. So I'll create a line chart here, right? This is a line chart. What is the average number of runs scored per winner? So I will write average of winner runs. And I'll add country, actually the team basically, winning team to the x-axis, and that is this winner. Let's see this. So average of winner runs by winner, which means West Indies, let's say, this much average runs, Sri Lanka this much average runs, and so on. Average number of runs scored by the winner. Next, average wickets also I want to see in this one only. Average number of wickets taken by the winner, winning team. So winner here is winning team. So this gives me a chart here, right? India, for example, scored less runs than the other ones, right? In terms of winning, like the winning runs. So that ways, think this is a chart that is helpful for us. Let's keep this aside. And now let's focus on one more chart that we want to create. I want to understand how did, let's say, toss affect chances, right? So let me plot a column chart now. On the x-axis, I want to, let's say, add the winner, right? X-axis, I want to add the winner who won the match, and in how many cases that person actually, let's say, there was the toss, that person was, or that team was also the toss winner, right? So India, when it won the match, right, in somehow in 8 cases it was the toss winner. Okay, so this toss winner needs to be, let's just see what the toss winner is. This is, yeah, so toss winner basically has the name of the country, right? So name of the country in case of India and South Africa is this. So India won the toss, let's say, in this many cases. Let me just add this here, right? Or let me just, okay, let me make this a bit simple, right? Let me not complicate things. Let's just add x on the x-axis. Let's just add the toss winner, right? And on the y-axis, let's just add how many matches that team won the toss. So count of matches. For example, England won the toss in 6 matches, right? England won the toss in 6 matches. And what was the decision of the toss? That we can add in legend. So England in all the cases chose to field. India won the toss in 4 cases, and in 2 cases, it actually India won the toss in 4 cases. In 2 cases, it chose to bat, and two it chose to field. Right. So that is another learning for me. And very quickly, now what I want to do is I want to just create one chart before I pause for a moment. I want to create a pie chart to understand who was the man of the match. Like how many times each person was the man of the match. For example, Kohli would have been, let's say, man of the match 2-3 times probably. So player of the, actually not in this World Cup, but maybe Rohit Sharma. So let's just add player of the match here. And in the legend, in the values, I want to add how many matches this person. So count of matches for which this person won the man of the match. So for example, Zampa 2 times, then Quinton de Kock, Stoinis and Bumrah also won the match, man of the match 2 times, and so on and so forth. Right. So this graph tells me man of the match. Now I hope you realize the power of Power BI, right? Pun intended, but Power BI is very, very powerful. It is something that is like it is a tool that is really powerful and can enable you to learn or derive such insights from the data that no other tool can, maybe, right? So that is the kind of power it has. Um, and I benefited a lot by learning Power BI, right? So upskilling in Power BI was probably one of the best decisions I ever took, right? It was super helpful for me, and a lot of things became easy for me. My work at, let's say, my last company Udan became easy and fast. I was more efficient, right? I was effectively I was just returning 10x return, right? I'd become 10x more efficient, 10x more fast. So Power BI is that kind of a tool. And based on my experience, I say this, upskilling and having a very solid roadmap towards upskilling is extremely important. And people who are in data analytics or who are not in data analytics, it is very important for you to upskill and have a solid roadmap, to make that career transition or to make that career improvement. So to streamline your path, right, and to receive expert guidance, to understand what the industry is expecting, I highly recommend you to invest in a program that has all these things, right? Which means it has structured curriculum, it has a solid roadmap for you which you can follow. It has expert guidance, it has, let's say, mock interviews, 24/7 doubt clearance, all this. If you are able to, let's say, enroll in this kind of a program, if you really want to get into data analytics, I think instead of beating around the bush, right, it is important for you to realize that these programs can really help you across the finish line, right? Cross the finish line. So I definitely recommend this, right? And I'm a mentor here for the data analytics program in Coding Ninjas. And I know that the data analytics bootcamp at Coding Ninjas is one of the best in the industry. We have all this in the program, right? So people who want to, let's say, upskill, people who want to switch to data analytics and data science, or who are already in the field but they want to improve, right? I definitely recommend you to go for the Coding Ninjas Data Analytics Job Bootcamp, right? The job bootcamp basically. And for the same, I'm hosting an Ask Me Anything session tomorrow at 2 p.m. Right? I myself will be there. I will be hosting it, and I will resolve all your doubts around the program. Now, at this point, I would recommend, and I hope, I think Anshika, if we can drop the link to that masterclass tomorrow, that Ask Me Anything session tomorrow,
Yeah.
please do that.
Yes, I have already, shared the link. So as Ashwin said, we are conducting Ask Me Anything session on Job Bootcamp. It will be taken by Ashwin Goel, and he is one of our esteemed mentors here and such a experienced and seasoned professional. So he will be able to help you with any kind of guidance that you need, and you will be able to ask any sort of questions on how this is, good fit for you. So we are giving you, I think, 1 to 2 minutes to, you all, like, you would not want to miss on this. Plus it's a free of cost thing. So you will get to explore something great only. And I am sharing the link again just in case it
Yes, I
will.
think it got pushed down, but yeah,
Yeah.
pushed up, I mean. But definitely, I think recommend people to at least explore, right? I was unfortunate when I was, moving into data analytics. I didn't have this kind of a program at that time. This did not exist, or I at least was not aware of any such program at that time. So I had to struggle a lot, right? There were lots of ups and downs. I had to do a lot of courses, and believe me, it took a lot of time, right? Delayed the process by lots of months. So I think if I would have had a structured program and curriculum which really matches what the industry is requiring today, I would have definitely, I would have probably, enrolled and learned the field, all the concepts and practiced, and would have become probably a better data analyst, better data scientist. So I think that's one thing I would have done, and I recommend you to do the same. But obviously, you would have your own questions, which is why we are hosting this masterclass or this Ask Me Anything session tomorrow. And
Yeah.
any
And
questions, not only around the masterclass, but also around the field in general, I would be happy to take tomorrow, right? Obviously, today also I'll try to take some of them, but we have less time. We have very limited time frame, so mostly I'll not be able to cover all the aspects of career transition, upskilling, improvement, right? But if you register tomorrow, you'll get a chance to get all your doubts cleared. Definitely register for the same.
right, right, right. So I'm sharing it again. Please interact with this and register for it. It is exclusive because we don't do it very often. So this is once in a month or twice in a month we do it. So you can register for it and don't worry about it. By the end of the session, once you're done with today's session, someone from Coding Ninja's team will join in and give you a little bit of brief on what job bootcamp is, and then you will be able to ask relevant questions tomorrow. So yeah, I think we can go ahead now, Ashwin. The link is
Yeah,
in
we
the
can
chat
continue
box.
with the dashboard.
Yeah, people
Yeah,
can still
yeah,
register
definitely.
for it. So you can, whosoever has not registered, they can, and we are going ahead with the session for now. Yeah.
Perfect. See lots of questions in the chat. Guys, I think if it is related to the job bootcamp, towards the end of the session, we will be talking about it. And tomorrow, definitely 2 p.m. Do fill the form. And then there are a few questions around, the Power BI dashboard I'm working on. Let me just complete, right? Let me just create a beautiful dashboard for you, and then we'll take up these questions. All right. So we are on this, right? We are at this stage where we've learned that, okay, what are the trends in the T20 World Cup dataset. Let's just see a bunch of more things, right? And probably, you can also, if you have any suggestions at this point, would be happy to take them. Or what's the question you want to answer through this dataset, right? Or based on obviously the fields that we have. Or you can also say that, this is the trend, or this is the trend I'm expecting. This is something that I will get from this data. Is there a question? Yes, if there's a question, then how can that question be answered through this data set? Right? That's what you want to see. So now let's see a bunch of more things, right? We've talked about city. We've not really considered the date in any of our analysis. Can I also look at the date here in terms of how did date affect, let's say, uh, maybe toss, or let's say winner runs. Right, let me just create another line chart for date on the x-axis, right? And this is hierarchy. This is a date hierarchy that automatically gets created here in Power BI. And I want to see on the y-axis how many runs did the winner score on each date, right? So I will remove this year because all the years are 2024. I will remove quarter also. I will remove month also. I just want to see day, right? Day of that month. Uh, so across these days, right? Which day was the most number of runs scored? Maybe we can take the average. I don't want to see the sum. So on average, third of the month was the day when maximum number of runs were actually scored, right? And let's also see the wickets, right? What's the number of wickets that the winner got on those days? Okay. So it's there. Instead of this, right? Instead of adding on the same y-axis, can I add this on a secondary y-axis? I'll just push this here. Secondary y-axis. See now on the right side is winner wickets and on the left side is winner runs. Right? So far so good. Now what I want to do is I want to just arrange things a bit. So let me just do that like this, and let me just arrange things a bit. Next, I want to add a bunch of more filters. Right? I want to see these trends, let's say just for India. I want to add a country filter. I want to add a country filter. So I will add a slicer here. Slicer. This is called a slicer. And I want to add the team, basically. Right? Team one. Okay, I can add team one or team two, but let me just add, the cases where team one is India. So I can just select this. Right? Let me just structure things a bit here. All right. So team one. India can be in team two also. So ideally, we should have a combination of team one and team two, right? But it's okay for now. This is there, and then what we need to do is, I want to actually add a card. What is a card? Card is just data, right? It will just display data. So I want to see the sum of the runs scored by the winner. That's the first thing, right? Sum of winner runs. And I want to see, let's say, sum of winner wickets also. So another card I will add here, where I will simply put winner wickets, right? Okay, let's see. Instead of, let me just add the winning team instead of this. Yeah. So total runs scored by India overall was 1006 because it won all the matches. Total number of wickets was 154, right? Not sure how this is so high, but okay. This is what the data is telling us. We may have the data itself may have some anomalies. All of that may be there, but okay. So I'm just telling you how to create these charts. Now I think we are done with the creation of all the charts. Now let's make the dashboard more beautiful. And that's where Power BI does a very good job. Very good job, right? Lots of effects, lots of visual, like making it visually appealing, lot of extra features for that. So let me just arrange things a bit. And all right. Now I always start with this. I always start with, let's say, adding borders. So I go here to the uh, format visual pane, and I go to general. In the effects, I have visual border. Right, in the effects, I have visual border. So I'll add a border for these. I will also add, let's say, a shadow for some of these. So I'm adding a border, at least I need a border for all of them. Maybe at a later point, I will add colors also for each of these charts. Right now, let me add colors also. So I can add this color. Let's say this can be this color. Now I want to make my dashboard very colorful. So I will add bunch of different colors here. All right. Yes. And for the cards, I want to use the same color, and that color can be blue, right? And maybe here I can change this again to this color. I can reduce the transparency so that it is not very dark, right? Maybe this. And finally, I think I can also change the color of this one, right? Maybe let's just decrease the transparency here. Any other color suggestions? Maybe we can use a red kind of a color, but we can decrease the transparency a bit. Okay, this looks okay. Let's just try something else here. All right, this looks fine for now. Now this is basically a dashboard that we've created for analyzing trends around the World Cup 2024 data, right? And this dashboard conveys a lot of information if you were to look at it very closely, right? Conveys a lot of very valuable information, and this can be used for creating a story, right? You can create a story out of this. If you see, if I were to present, see now it is looking good. So this kind of power is provided to you by tools like Power BI and Tableau. Power BI in particular is used very widely across the world, and also because it comes from Microsoft, right? There's a lot of support, Microsoft support, and there's a lot of integration with other tools. For example, you can directly, let's say, use Power BI visuals in PowerPoint, right? And you can link it with Excel. You can do a bunch of stuff. So that is a visual. I can add pages. These pages are like chapters to my story, right? This is like a book. Every book tells a story, right? Every book tells a story. And in every book, you can have chapters. So these pages in Power BI are like chapters in your book, right? In your story. So so Power BI is the perfect tool for data storytelling. All right. Okay. So I think broadly, that's that gives me some idea of the kinds of trends I want to see from the World Cup data, right? This I will just read each of these charts after this. and maybe I can convey, I can learn something from it. For example, from this chart, right, I learned that this city, Providence, um, has the highest number of average runs. So maybe it's a high scoring pitch. But let's say this city is a very low scoring pitch. New York, right, is a low scoring pitch, maybe. And then let's see, West Indies here, uh, it scored the whenever it won the match, it scored the highest number of runs, right? Which means that whenever West Indies won the match, it scored very high number of runs as compared to other teams winning the matches. For example, India winning the match did not score a high total, which is why we may be tense, or we may think that okay, India has not scored very highly, or India has not scored much. Maybe it will win. Maybe it may not win the match actually. It may be chasing the total also. So that can be another scenario. Next, let's learn from this one. England won the toss in let's say 5, 6 times, and it chose to field in all those 6 times. Right? India won the toss 4 times, chose to bat 2 times, chose to field 2 times. And then we have this chart. Then we have this chart. For example, if I select India here, all the data across the board will get filtered for India. Right? Everything will dynamically change for India. Right? Okay. So that's there. I think just gives us an idea of the kinds of trends and kinds of learnings that Power BI can generate, right? And at this point, we are on step 5. We are telling stories from the data. We are deriving insights from the data set through visualizations, and we are conveying those insights to the stakeholders through data storytelling, right? Through conveying a message or through telling a story. And we tell this story to our managers, business team leaders, CEO, right, to all the stakeholders who are involved in the project. We tell this story to them. Right. So that is about Power BI. This, I think, again, this will make hopefully many of you interested. This will interest a lot of you, and you will next go on to try this at your in your place, right? You will go back and try building a similar kind of dashboard, and let's see what you come up with. If you post this on LinkedIn, do tag me. If you create similar kind of dashboard, definitely tag me. Would be happy to see what you've done. Maybe I can quickly share if you want. I can just, because I see a few messages in the chat around this, so I'll just share my LinkedIn also if you want to tag whenever you create a dashboard. I also remember someone was asking for this for my YouTube. I think maybe if you can, if you want, you can also use this link. So I've pasted both links here, and yeah, I think they are in the chat. Yes, super. Now that's the dashboard. We created this in practically 15, 20 minutes, right? Most of the time I was talking about other things. But if I would not have been talking, I would have created this in 10 minutes. So that's the power of Power BI. Okay, data source link you want. Data source link. I'll just share this Kaggle link from where I took the sheet. Maybe I can, yeah, this is the one. Let me just share it with you. So this data is coming from ClickBuzz, and it is, I got this from a Kaggle link. So this, I've shared the link with you. It is actually, it has two data sets. We are using the matches data set from this, right? So yes, I've shared the link again in the chat for you. Again, I'll give you a minute to maybe absorb all these links, and yeah, think you can now download the dataset and perform this on your own. Let me know if you didn't get the dataset link. Okay, I think you got it right. So if you go down there, there's an option to there's an option to download the dataset. Super, super, super. All right, let's start with questions now. I see a lot of very, very interesting questions. First question I'm taking up is, why did I use this chart here? Why did I use this chart here? How do I choose charts? So the answer to that question is, it comes with practice, right? It comes with experience. I want to answer a question, right? My question is that how many runs did each winning team score? Which chart will best represent this or answer this question, right? So this comes with practice. So data storytelling also is, is an art more than a science. So I think, you learn with time, and you then it strikes you that okay, this chart will be best suited for this kind of a question, for this kind of a use case. And in general, I am saying that if you still want some, let's say, scientific rules or something, so line chart typically we use with time series data. When you have time on the you have categories of data, then you use stacked column chart, or let's say this bar chart. If you have slices of data, right, you want to see the percentage that India contributed to the global GDP, maybe, right? Or uh, Maharashtra contributed to India GDP. What's the percentage of that? Those kinds of percentages you see through pie charts and donut charts. If you have geographical data, you will obviously represent it using a map, right? This map or a field map. If you have a slicer, if you have a filter, that will come in slicer. Then if you have, let's say, and if you want to see area under the curve, then you will use area chart, right? If you have, let's say, rainfall versus temperature, and you want to plot a scatter chart, right? This is the chart you will use. You want to plot a chart, you want to understand, is there any relation between rainfall and temperature? You use a chart like this scatter chart, right? So these are some learnings that I've had over the years working with Power BI, and that's what you can use. All right. How to publish? So there's this option here. If you see on the home page, in the home menu, there is this option to publish. Right? I can publish this to my. So first I save this, and I can publish it to my workspace. Right? I'm using my company workspace at present, but you can, um, you can publish this to your workspace. So I can save this first. This is T20 data, and maybe I'll write today's date. I save this. Then it asks me which workspace do you want to publish, right, in your organization workspaces. So all of that you can do, right? Should not be a problem here. Okay. So I've created a workspace, my workspace. I select it, and yeah, it is done already. See, it is getting published. Super. Okay. Uh, can we add these charts to Excel? In Excel also you have a bunch of charts, but no, this directly you cannot add to Excel, right? There's no way to directly, let's say, paste this chart on Excel as such or reproduce this. You'll have to create from scratch only on Excel. Which chart to use for categorical data? Typically, I use this bar chart or column chart. When you have categories, if you see right here, all of these are different categories. Country name is the category, basically, team name. Okay. Um, all right. See, lot of questions. Let me just get to them very quickly. Dynamic data in Power BI. Yeah. So that data can change, right? Data in my sheet can change. I can just do this. I can just, let's say, refresh my data. If my data in my underlying sheet changes, everything in this data set or this dashboard will also change. Okay. All right, lot of repetitive questions. Source of the data, I've shared the source of the data, Ruchi. How do we input it in the tool? Let me quickly show you. So there's an option here to get data. This is the option, right? Get data. And you can get it from online sources. See, there are lots of options. You can get it through online, offline, database, Azure, online services, anything. So I got it through Excel workbook, but you can get it through any database. For example, SQL Server database. Let me plug in the charger 1 second. Yeah, so we can get it through bunch of databases, any source basically, right? Power BI provides us with lots of options for um, store for fetching data, for importing data. Okay. 1 second. Let's see. Yeah, meanwhile, if you have any questions and I'm not able to answer today, I think tomorrow would be the best time. We have the AMA session. Just ensure you register. We've already put down the link in the chat. Majorly tomorrow we'll talk about career related questions and questions related to our data analytics bootcamp. But yeah, let's just see. Okay, next. YouTube link of a channel from where we can learn Power BI completely. Right. See, we have this in the data analytics course here at Power BI, at Coding Ninjas. I have a few sessions on my YouTube channel also. Like I have recorded a few Power BI sessions, but I think Edureka is maybe one. You can look at Coding Ninjas YouTube channel. There are a bunch of videos, I believe. I think, but Edureka is a YouTube channel that you can see for that. So yes, okay. Only Power BI is enough to get jobs for experienced professionals. First of all, depends on the role you want to pursue, right? Typically, Power BI is not sufficient. It is definitely a good boost, but it is not sufficient. You need to know at least Excel and SQL, right? At least these two also. So at least three skills you should know: Excel, SQL, and Power BI, right? And these we teach extensively here and across other courses across the board. You'll get a lot of information, a lot of resources for the same. Okay. How can we import Excel sheet having more than one sheet into Power BI desktop? Good question. So when we import, right, there's an option. It displays all the sheets in that particular sheet. So for example, let me try to get data quickly. There's an option to import however many sheets you want. So Excel workbook. I hope we see the right option. Yeah, matches. Right. So matches is the data set that I was using today, but it had only one sheet. But if we have multiple sheets, right, they will essentially come here. So here we have one sheet matches, but if you have more sheets, they will come here. So you just need to select all of them and load them, right? And then you'll see them as separate sheets here, separate tables altogether here. Right? So these are tables basically. This is a table. Okay. Uh, are there any sessions on SQL? Um, Again, we will, and Anshika, maybe if you can note this SQL session also, a lot of people have asked SQL data, SQL session. So maybe we can organize one, right? And yeah, I mean, if you want to learn SQL, I think I teach, and currently I'm teaching. I had a class yesterday. I have a class tomorrow also. I teach SQL in the data analytics course, and some of the things that we are teaching there even were even new for me, right? So, and we actually teach whatever is being really taught or used in organizations and like corporates. So it's very relevant that ways.
Yeah, and
But
we
yeah, I
will
mean,
also be
SQL,
having sessions on SQL in future, in next
perfect.
week or upcoming week or the next week after that.
Sure, super. What's the difference between Tableau and Power BI? They are totally different tools, very similar functionality, similar function overall, but Power BI is by Microsoft and Tableau is altogether different. So Tableau and Power BI are both data visualization tools, similar functionality, but then yeah, tools themselves are different. Can you explain more about the slicer option? Definitely, this is a slicer, right? This is also a slicer. So slicer is just used to filter data in real time, right? Dynamically filter data. For example, if I want to see for first half of the month only, see all the data will change. Everything changed. If you see, right, first 15 days only, I want to see everything in this data changed. Let's just see for next 15 days. I can just move 50, let's say 14 to 29, or let's say 15 to 29. This is how my data will look like. Okay. Lots of questions. Uh, how can we resolve this? So people who have questions around Power BI, right? This the discussion we've had just now. If your question remains unanswered today, maybe ask me through LinkedIn, possibly, right? If you have any questions around data analytics in general, careers, switches, the data analytics bootcamp. Tomorrow we have an AMA at 2 p.m. as I mentioned, and we had dropped the link somewhere, but it got lost. Let me just quickly copy and paste it again. Um, just attend that if you have any question around careers in general and any general question around Power BI. So I've pasted it again here. Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks. So for that, come there. Your questions, all your questions will be answered. Right, and I, for one, I make sure every question gets answered in that webinar because I take that very seriously because it can really make or break someone's career. Not break, but make someone's career. Right?
Right.
Super.
And we will also be talking about, the tools and technologies also. It's not like if you will ask Power BI related question or Python related or SQL related, will not cater that. Will obviously cater that. So you can register for it and get your unanswered question answered tomorrow. So
Yeah, perfect. I think we can take up all questions tomorrow in that case. I mean, obviously, we'll take up more questions today,
more.
but I would still see a lot of unanswered questions. So I think tomorrow we will definitely take all other questions also. So, last two questions I'll take, and then maybe I also want the Coding Ninjas team to talk about the bootcamp because a lot of people would maybe interested, right? So, last two questions quickly, and maybe I'll come back for more questions after you talk about the bootcamp, right? Maybe we can do that. But let's see. What is the difference between Excel and Power BI? So Power BI is predominantly a data visualization tool, data storytelling. You have all these beautiful charts and graphs, but Excel is more of a data analysis tool, right? You do analysis, you identify trends, you clean data, manipulate data. So slightly different use cases, lot of overlapping features, and both of them are coming from Microsoft. So lot of Microsoft tools and functionalities and support and integration of Copilot, all of that is there. Okay. How can I integrate ChatGPT or OpenAI in Power BI? Not required. Thankfully, Microsoft has done that already for us. See this Copilot. Super, right? Anything around this, you can ask Copilot. Anything around your data, you can, any doubts, any formulas you want to write, Copilot will help you. And that is there in this also. You see, it's there here also. So you can ask Copilot to write your DAX query. So DAX is data analytics expressions. This is a slightly more advanced concept in Power BI. Again, we cover this in the course. I don't have a video on this, but I think we can at some point in future organize one session. Um, and you will obviously find a lot of information on the internet. But I think in the course we definitely talk about it at length. Okay. Specific course in Power BI for finance guys? No, but all the skills that we learn in Power BI in the course, they would be used, right? They are the ones that would be utilized properly. So no separate learning required. Maybe you can work on data sets in finance, right? In Power BI, you can use those data sets, finance data sets. All right, over to the team. Without wasting any more time, let me just invite Anshika and the team to talk about the bootcamp because a lot of questions I see will be answered through that only.
Yeah, no worries. So thank you so much, Ashwin, for the insightful session and the beautiful dashboard. So as I can see, there are a lot of questions around Coding Ninja's Job Bootcamp, what it is, how it can help our viewers. So we have Karan Khanna, our senior program expert from Job Bootcamp team, and he is here today to share his insights on what exactly it is, how it is the ideal roadmap for someone who is looking for transition. So, hey Karan, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi Anshika.
Yeah, I would like to give it to you. Before that, I would like to thank Ashwin again, and would like to announce that I'm sharing the registration link for AMA session that is taking place tomorrow 2 p.m. with Ashwin Goel. in the chat box. You can take a minute and register for it. And Karan, I think we can go ahead with our job bootcamp now.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much, Anshika. And thank you so much, Ashwin, for such an insightful session. So, looking forward to your Ask Me Anything session tomorrow at 2 p.m. So, guys, we have already shared the
Thank you.
link in
So,
chat box. Yeah, thank you, Ashwin. Thank you so much. So, guys, we have already shared the link to register for the AMA session in the chat box. So, you may register for it as it's an exclusive opportunity and we don't do it very often. So, in case you have any doubts, any questions, any queries still left for it, you can just register for the AMA session, which is going to be there tomorrow at 2 p.m. So, in case you have any queries, anything which you want to ask, you can just note it down. And tomorrow in the session at 2 p.m., you can just do it. To register for that session, we have already shared the link in the chat box. So through with the help of that link, you can just register for that session. So moving ahead, guys, my name is Karan and I am the senior program expert from Job Bootcamp team of Coding Ninjas. And I'll be taking your 5 to 10 more minutes to explain what Job Bootcamp is, how it can benefit you. Plus, we will also reveal some scholarship opportunities, scholarships which we have on this Job Bootcamp program. And the only way to do is by dropping in your contact number. So we'll do it. I'll let you know step by step how the process works. So I'll just share my screen and I'll walk you through the prerequisites to become a data analyst and how the job boot camp is the right fit for your need. So I'll just share my screen. Let me know if my screen is visible. So I have shared my screen. Just let me know if it's visible in the chat box.
Yes, it is.
Sure, Anshika. Thank you. So guys, talking about the placement assistance at first, because I think that is the major part, that is the more important part, why we are here or why you should go with Job Bootcamp. So as the name suggests, Coding Ninjas Job Bootcamp, it's a job-oriented program we have. So interview or placements works in such a manner that there is proper placement assistance, which we will be taking care of once you complete the program, right? It's a 6 months long course. It's an online program, 100% live course. So you will be having the live classes directly with the faculty of Coding Ninjas. Faculty will be industry professionals who are having, 3, 4 years, 5 years of work experience working as a data analyst. So there is a high class faculty who will be giving you a training, who will be teaching you. So you will be learning from experts. So the interview roadmap works in such a way that there are 5 rounds of interviews. You go with any Fang Mang or any good multinational company. So there are approximately around 5 rounds of interviews, starting with screening round. First round will be screening round, technical round, case study, tools and technologies, and managerial round. So for every given round, for every step, there is a separate interview preparation. We will be giving you a proper training that how you are supposed to clear these interviews, right? Because if you ask me why job bootcamp, why should we go with job bootcamp? The main thing is that interview preparation or assistance, placement support, like whatever it takes for you